Hi guys, how you doing? Chris here with the Teclast X98 Plus. This just arrived now. I've already looked at the Windows version about 3 months ago and it wasn't a bad tablet, it had some really good battery life. This is now the dual boot version, so I'm keen to see just how well the Android side of things performs. So in this particular video I'm just going to have a look at the ROM, some benchmarks and a little bit of gaming, so let's check it out. So the typical Banggood polystyrene box here. Unfortunately, they haven't given me the original box. They package things. That's one of the downsides of them, but they do ship out quite quickly, which is why I like using them. So on the box, they declared the value as 21 US. Of course, it's worth a hell of a lot more than that. It's actually about, well, 200. I didn't have to pay any taxes on this one either. So I've just gone around and cut the tape around the edges here, just to help make things a little easier for the video. All right, so we have the usual instruction, warranty, guarantee cards. These are all in Chinese, so that's useless to me because I don't understand Chinese. And we have a micro USB cable, OTG adapter, so we can connect up USB devices with the full-size port there. A EU adapter there for the power supply. That's handy for me. And here is the typical Teclast power supply, so it's 5 volts, 2.5 amps there. And the tablet here is nicely packaged up. Okay, so just quickly we have the micro USB port here, 3.5mm headphone jack. Now this does support remotes and microphones. It's a 4-pole port, which is good. And we do have a micro HDMI out. Now the build is mostly, well, metal on the back. The touchscreen is glass. It's a retina panel, and you can see along here that we have metal all round on the housing. This part here is plastic for the antennas. We do have a 5 megapixel rear camera. I will take a few snaps with this one to show you some samples, but it doesn't normally take a very good picture, the cameras on these tablets. 2 loudspeakers here, and we do have a microphone, micro SD card slot, and volume up and down, power on there. And the front is a 2 megapixel camera, which again is not wonderful. Normally tend to be quite hopeless, these cameras. They're okay in good light, and that's pretty much about it. Now the trim around the outside here, the front is actually plastic, and overall it's quite solid. It does feel nice. There's no flicks or anything like that. There's no bending. I can't hear any creaks or noises or anything, so overall it does feel quite nice in hand there. So let's power it on now and have a look and see just how the ROM is and how much space we have. Okay, luckily there is a little bit of battery in there, hopefully enough for me to quickly show the ROM. Okay, so there's the familiar Teclast dual boot menu. Of course there, so we have Windows or Android, and you can disable this too at the top. So if you untick that little box and the last OS you select, it will automatically just go straight into it. Alright, so wow, there's a lot of bloatware on this ROM. That's incredible. Teclast always seem to do that. They cram in a lot of stuff that's only relevant to the Chinese market, so they don't really gear up the ROM for export. It's more aimed at the local market, of course. Let me just have a look. Well, we're obviously in Chinese. Going to need to change that. Where are we? English. Okay, so have a quick look at the information. So we are Android 5.1 and this is ROM build 1.04. Have a look now at the downloaded apps. So there's a lot of apps in there that we can remove all that bloat. Just have a look and see free RAM we have on first boot. So we've got 3.2 gigabytes of RAM free there, which gives us plenty of, well actually 3.3, plenty of RAM there to do a bit of multitasking. And overall, yeah, that's the typical Teclast launcher that I'm not really particularly fond of. Okay, I'll just see if these can actually be uninstalled. They should, hopefully. Okay, at least it looks like I can uninstall literally, well, most of these bloaty Chinese only applications. Yeah, that's good. Oh, sorry, before I forget, I just wanted to check out the storage, of course, and we have 8.87 gigabytes free, so that isn't too bad. Now, if you missed my Windows version unboxing, I'll just quickly have a look at the thickness here of the tablet. So it is 8.5, you can see that, no you can't really, there we go, 8.6 actually, 8.6 millimeters, and the weight won't be changed or different from the Windows version. So have a look, and it's 533 grams there. Okay, so I'm going to connect to the internet and get Google Play set up, which I think is right here, Play Store, and then I'll install some benchmarks, some games, and we'll run through those using the capture card so you can see just how well the ROM runs or not, or just how steady it is. So we'll have a look at that now. So I managed to uninstall literally all of the bloat applications that were already installed in Chinese. There's a few that remain, and you can see, well, that's the folder name there. I can actually change that over, and Google is on board there. Google Play works just fine. I didn't have any issues with it at all. I managed to install everything I needed, all the games. Now you can see the lag that the launcher has. Look at that. Typical Teclast launcher, really. That they all do that, and I honestly don't like this launcher very much, as mentioned before, just with the initial hands-on there. So I recommend you do just dump that launcher and maybe get Apex or Nova. I think it is Super Cows on XDA forums does have a custom ROM for this particular model. I may check that out, but that probably would help things here in terms of speed and performance. So we do have the standard Android browser. Of course, Teclast is set up as the home page. And if I just go over quickly to techtablets.com, I'm using the tablet itself, not a keyboard or anything, so I'm just touching on the screen there with the touch keyboard. And by the way, I'm capturing this on an Elgato capture card for those interested. So I'll just have a look and see how this loads in and how the scrolling performance is. You can of course install Chrome, probably would be a little bit better maybe than this, but overall that's not too bad. A little slow down there with the images popping in, and actually no, that's not very good really. Quite sluggish. Chrome on the other hand should be a little bit better, I would say, than that. So back into the home screen here. Now I did go through my usual benchmarks that I normally run on these tablets. So just quickly show you those. They're under the gallery. I just took screen grabs of each of them. You can also see there's a couple of things that popped up there. That's from my SD card that's already inserted. So I've got a 16 gigabyte Samsung Evo in there, and it's working just fine. Now apparently on the forums, the Teclast forums, people that were using large cards like 200 gigabyte ones or the 128 are having trouble with them working or being recognized as SanDisk models. So I can't actually personally check that out because I don't have one that large. So go through the benchmarks that I ran first. So I looked at, first off, the speed of the wireless here. So we got 24 download and 28 up. Now the upload speed's really good. The download, I don't know what happened. Normally I get around 40. Could have been because there was traffic on the cell tower nearby. Could have been down to that, but overall being the upload speed there is good, but the download, not too happy with that. Anyway, moving on to Geekbench 3 score here. This is a little lower than I would have expected, but only marginally lower than other Atom X5 Z8300 devices. The Antutu benchmark score, this is lower definitely. I think it should be a little higher than this. It should be around the 60k mark. Ice Storm, of course, that maxed that one out. It's only 720p. And then the Ice Storm Extreme that runs in 1080p. Again, a lower score. I would have hoped for around 10,000, 11,000 here. So a low score. I saw unlimited score. I would have thought a bit higher again. So benchmarks are overall disappointing a little bit. Now there were a couple of people that mentioned on a thread in techtablets.com that the RAM's only running at 1066 megahertz instead of 1600, and that could have something to do with that. Slingshot score, again, it should maybe be around about 1300 for the particular chipset. And the camera, this is the rear camera. I did take a few photos. So macro photos come out alright, you can see there, and captured a few details. But overall, you mean your cell phone's going to take better images than this. I will quickly go through these. The outdoor shots are quite washed out and disappointing. If you have a look around here, the pine tree, yeah, that's a mess. Look at that. Not really brilliant. The cameras have never been really good, apart from the Mi Pad 2. The Mi Pad 2 has reasonably good cameras for a tablet, so nothing amazing there. I'm going to go now and just have a look at a few games here and see how they run. Just a couple of popular titles. So Leo's Fortune, I haven't actually run this yet, so I don't even know how to play this one, so bear with me on this one. My gameplay could be horrendous. Quite a pricey game too, actually, for an Android game. €6 I think it was. Would you like to see? I should, but I'm going to say no, just to save time here. Okay, graphics look really nice, and this is running I think okay, but I have no idea on what I'm meant to be doing. How to get the guy to jump. Okay, you've got to charge it up. Oh, I have no idea. Okay, not a good game to show you, so I'm gonna skip out of this one, but for now, I mean, well, looking like it's going okay. Seems to be smooth enough. And it certainly looks very nice. So I'm going to get out of that one because I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, okay, you have to swipe up to make him jump. Okay, I want to kill that one off. Now, RAM management, we have normally about 3.2 free. So if I just clear the memory at the moment, what have we got? So yeah, 3.2 there, gigabytes free, which is quite a lot. I'll go into Clash of Clans now. Okay, so scrolling around the map there's a little bit of stutter there. There's some delay, like a little bit of lag there, with where my finger is moving on the screen. But yeah, performance is pretty average there. Now, being a 2D game, you would think this isn't really that demanding, but when you get bigger towns, I think like the level 10 or 9 towns or whatever, really huge on the map, then it can actually get quite laggy. So just have a look, zoom right out and move around there. Yeah, I mean, you can even see there the animation there has a bit of lag. So I'll quickly go and attack someone just to see how that performs. Yeah, it definitely seems to have a bit of slowdown here. Okay, so it's playable, but there is definitely a little lag there, and it's not running as smooth as it certainly does on my Note 5. This one here is Dungeon Hunter 5. Alright, so Dungeon Hunter 5, that's running, I think, fine. There's a few bits of slowdown there, but that is normal with all the effects and things on the screen there, but I think this one's perfectly fine. So I'll move on now and check out one of the more demanding games, which would be Mortal Kombat X. This one I've seen lag on most tablets that have the Retina screen. I mean, it's even giving me a warning here that I'm below the requirements. Oh well, that's a real slideshow.
You have eyes, but will not see. I see you.
So we're running literally at like 10 frames per second here. No, okay, I've seen enough of this game. This is just a slideshow. This is horrible. And here we have Asphalt 8 Airborne. Now the game automatically set the settings to medium. I'll show you under display here. So it's on visual quality medium. I'm just going to leave that, go with that, and see how it runs. So I think it's safe to say that this game is actually running fine, perfectly playable with these visual quality at medium. No problems really. So I'll move on now to another game. We'll test out and have a look at Real Racing 3, so another racing game. Well, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this game here, but I think this one, even just from this quick little preview here, I think it runs perfectly fine on the tablet. It looks like the display quality, the visual settings have been reduced automatically. I think it auto-configures when you first launch it. So I'll move on now and check out the last game, which is Sniper Fury.
On your go.
So you can see moving around there, yeah, there's definitely a bit of stutter there. The frame rate is suffering somewhat, and it's definitely not a smooth 60 frames per second. Definitely not. I think I just shot him in the arm. Yeah, even though this is just one of the earlier first missions, I can tell from this that it's going to be playable just, but there are going to be definitely moments of lag with this game.
Alright, equip the assault rifle. Nice, you're ready to rock.
Alright, so all in all, you can see their performance, definitely when I looked at those benchmarks there, is not as fast as the other Atom X5Z 8300s I've looked at. And the launcher, the typical Teclast launcher, you can see there is a little sluggish, and I'm not at all fond of it. So if I was going to be keeping this tablet, I would definitely get rid of the launcher and probably put Nova launcher on there, an Apex. And gaming, well, you can see demanding titles like Mortal Kombat there, just complete slideshow. Not playable at all, really. I would not want to play the game like that. So bear that in mind. If you want the best gaming performance from a Retina tablet, a dual boot one, then have a look at the Teclast X98 Pro, because that's a lot faster and can play the game quite smoothly. But you do sacrifice battery life. Now, in terms of battery life, no, I don't actually know, because I've been benchmarking in gaming, and really it has gone through about a good 40% of my battery doing that. So I have no real clue yet on the battery life, but I will update that later on, probably in another video, or perhaps on the website there with Tech Tablets. Thanks for watching this video and making it this far. If you have watched the whole thing, then well done.